Go to this computer. There we go. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight. My name is Renee Carls, and welcome to the Comeback series. And I just want to invite everyone, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the recording, just take just a second, just to pause and just ask God or just have a little, just a peaceful second with yourself and ask the Lord, say, God, what do you have for me tonight? And I just invite you to come with an open heart and receive what this masterclass has for you. I encourage you to pull out a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, or if you like to keep notes on trainings within a journal. And I want you to just to jot down a few notes. Maybe I'm going to say something tonight that's going to be like sparking something within you. You will have an opportunity to ask some questions at the end, or you're always welcome to email me or text me or message me on Instagram any questions. And then I also want you to be able to jot down some action items. Maybe there is something that I'm going to say tonight that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this. Because remember, this is the first masterclass of this comeback series about nutrition. All right. Uh, I did a poll a couple weeks ago to my Instagram followers, and many people I asked, "Hey, what are you struggling with this summer? As we're ending August and we're moving into September. What are the things that you find that you're struggling with?" And most of the people that answered the poll said that they were struggling with nutrition, knowing what to do, but just not taking action to do it. So that is what I am going to be speaking on tonight, the nutrition comeback. Now, I want y'all, if you are live with me, I want you to put in the chat. I want you to answer this question, okay? Hop in the chat feature and type the word me, all right? Type the word me. And let me see if I can move these notes over here. Type the word me and answer this question, okay? As a woman, I am a woman who knows how to come back. All right. If that is you, I want you to say, type in the chat feature, me. I am a woman who knows how to come back. Because remember, we're talking about the comeback tonight. You know what to do, but you just don't do it. You don't need to restart. You don't need to start over from scratch. You know what to do, but you're just going to come back. So type me. I am a woman who knows how to come back. When nutrition gets messy, I know how to come back. When I miss a workout, I know how to come back. When I'm on vacation, I know how to come back. I know how to come back during a stressful season. I know how to come back when life completely blindsides me. And I know that you are the type of woman that wants to do that. So type me in the chat feature and let me know that's the type of woman that you want to become, that you know how to come back. Okay. You have the knowledge up here. Now I want you to know how to bring it back. Okay. Now, as I said, you don't need to start over. You just need to come back to the things that you already know. So tonight, I'm not going to give you a diet. I'm not going to give you a meal guide. I'm not going to give you some new recipes because I don't believe that that's really what you need to be successful in your health journey and specifically nutrition, all right? Because it's not more knowledge that you need. You don't need to keep scrolling through TikTok or Instagram for the latest trend, okay? You need to take the information and the knowledge that you already know and start using it. All right. So that's why I created this comeback series. Y'all know that many of you may know that, and you might not know that I've had some pretty big health challenges in 2026. Okay. Some of it was planned and some of it wasn't. All right. So, this is what I found from my own journey of 2026 and going through the health challenges that I had. And then putting that together because I found a common thread that I think we can all agree upon. All right. So, my own comeback journey started in January, at the end of January, when I had A planned surgery. I had a left total knee replacement that was planned. But then in May, guess what, y'all? I had something that was unplanned, that was a total life challenge. That's something that came clear out of the clear blue. And that was an unplanned brain tumor. Thank the Lord, it was a benign brain tumor, but it caused me to take a look at where was I going to start. I knew I had to rebuild. I knew I had to regain strength, balance, and coordination, especially with my brain tumor and with my total knee replacement. I had to slowly return to working out again. I had to get back to nutrition. When before I had my knee replacement surgery, my doctor said, I really want you to make sure that you get all your protein in. And I was like, oh, don't worry about that. I'm a trainer. I'm a health coach. I know how to get my protein in. And then after my surgery, I needed to make sure that I had my protein so that I could rebuild after my knee replacement. But guess what? After my brain tumor and after I had my surgery, I wasn't hungry. I was not hungry, but I had that anchor that in my mind that I'm like, I know that this is going to be important for me. I know that although I'm not hungry, I've got to return and try to get that protein in at least, so that when I had my meals, I was eating smaller meals. Maybe I would have one egg, with a little piece of sourdough toast, and I would have a little fruit. And although I wasn't able to eat the big portions that I could before I had my surgery, I still was making that protein a priority. But it was a process, all right? It wasn't like that came a Monday morning and I was like, suddenly everything is back to normal. I started where I was and I went back to what I knew. Okay. I knew I needed to drink water. I knew I needed to move my body. I knew I needed sleep. I needed to make rest a priority as I was healing from both of my surgeries. All right. And that's where I started, just consistently getting back to the routine that I had built throughout my career, which started in 1984 in the wellness industry. Okay, now what I want you to I want to share with you tonight is that you already know. You already know how to do a lot of the things, but you're just not doing them. All right. And that's why I wanted to share this comeback series. First of all, as we're going into the second little point I want to make here. I want you to drop a yes. All right, if any of these statements that I'm going to read pertain to you. All right, let's see how much you know already. All right, just drop a yes if you know. All right, do you know about how much protein you should be eating, or that you should be eating more protein? Do you know that you should drink more water? Hello, everybody. We know that already, right? Do you know that making whole foods probably is going to help you feel better? Eating whole foods and not processed foods probably is going to make you feel better, right? Do you know that planning ahead is better than just eating, just anything willy-nilly, right? Do you know that whatever is grabbing something that's convenient, it usually isn't the best decision? Of course, you know those things. You know those things. So type a yes if any of those statements that I just read pertain to you. All right. Now, the key point is that you don't have an information problem. All right. We have, and all of us do. And this was what I had to regain after having my surgeries. We have an implementation problem, applying the knowledge that you've gathered over time and putting it into practice. It's called consistency. All right, consistency. We all, how many people have saved a post on Instagram? I know I've probably saved thousands of posts on Instagram. Oh, I want to get back to that. Maybe you've scrolled TikTok. Maybe you've scrolled Instagram or Facebook, and you're looking, oh, the fiber challenge, the protein challenge, all of these types of things. We are inundated with knowledge. But what we need to make sure that we're doing is that we are taking what we already know, not piling up more knowledge, not putting more, PDFs on our computer, but putting into practice the things that we already know to help bring consistency. Okay. So tonight, I want you to think about this. Instead of asking yourself, what diet should I follow? And instead start asking yourself, what do I stop doing when I already know what works? Why do I stop doing what I know already works? Okay, ask yourself, why do I stop? I know this works before. I know I've done certain things that work. Well, why do I stop doing what I know works? Okay, that's what I want you to think about. All right, and the reason why some of you have that mindset that you think you need to keep starting over. Oh, it's Monday. I'm going to start my new diet Monday. Anybody ever felt that way, right? On Monday, I'm going to start. Oh, I could never start in the middle of the week. I could never start on a Wednesday. It's because no matter what information that you've had, that even though you know what to do, you are not committed to consistency in building that lifestyle. Okay. So this is what I want you to think about. We're going to tackle this problem together. All right, let's tackle what it looks like when we begin to build but with consistency. Let's tackle this problem, okay? So we can get rid of starting, over again every Monday and looking for the next fitness craze, all right? We want to build consistency. And you know what consistency looks like? This is what it looks like. You go out to dinner, maybe you enjoy a big burger and fries, you return to what you know. All right. You have a weekend away where you enjoyed your weekend, but you return to what you know. You have a stressful week, but you return to getting back to the basics again. All right. You don't just say, oh, well, I'm just going to throw it all away. Okay. You don't wait until Monday. You don't wait until September. All right. You could start today, August 27th, right? You don't decide the whole month is ruined because you had a few off days. All right. You simply come back to the things that you know help you feel your best. That is something that walking through the recovery of my surgeries reminded me over and over again. All right. Now, who has ever heard of the all or nothing cycle? This is something that I always talk to my clients about, is the all or nothing cycle, because the all or nothing cycle will not serve you, friends. It will not serve you. I want to challenge you to stop thinking like, oh, I need to get back on track again. We tend to think that something is healthy or it's not. I'm either healthy or I'm not healthy. I'm either following the plan or I've blown it. I'm either getting disciplined or I've failed. But you see how these things don't serve you well, because you think, oh, if I don't do every single thing perfect, if I don't follow every single part of the plan, then I failed. So why don't I do anything? Oh, I missed my workout for 2 days in a row. Well, you know what? I'm busy anyway. I'm just going to skip the rest of the week. Do you see how the all or nothing mindset kind of plays with our minds, right? All or nothing mindset plays with your mind. So the new mindset, this is the direction that doesn't require a restart. It requires a next decision. Doesn't that make you feel good? It doesn't require you to overhaul everything. It requires you making a next decision. You don't have to wait until tomorrow. You don't have to wait until a Monday. You just decide to do it. You decide to do it imperfectly, but you just make the next decision. Okay. So here's a question that will change your comeback. Because remember, we're talking about the comeback to nutrition. Ask yourself, this is how you're going to get back to your comeback. All right. Ask yourself, what is the next thing I know how to do? All right. Think about that. That question will change everything. Maybe today the answer is, I'm going to drink more water. Great. I give my clients, I say to them, hey, pick 3 things, and I want you to focus on those 3 things the rest of the week. Okay, so maybe you're going to say, hey, the question that's going to change everything is, what will I focus on today? Hey, maybe I'll drink more water. I'll eat some protein at every meal. All right, I'm going to fill my plate with whole foods. I'm going to go to the grocery store, and instead of going through the drive-throughs, I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to plan a simple meal. I'm going to jot down some meals that I can have Monday through Friday. And that will include some leftovers that I can use. Maybe you're going to pull out the crock pot. Okay. The fall is a great time to pull out the crock pot. Think about what you're going to plan your meals with. Open your refrigerator, clean out your refrigerator. Do you have a lot of leftover, crap processed foods in your refrigerator? Hey, sister, clean that out, right? Think about, can you make rest a priority? Can you make nourishing your body a priority? Can you think about, hey, I'm not going to starve myself. I'm going to nourish myself, right? Think about the next thing that you can do. Maybe you need to say, you know what? I'm exhausted. Not only am I not fueling my body with good whole food nutrition, but I am staying up and burning the midnight oil. So could you say, you know what? The next thing that I can take ownership of, I'm going to make rest a priority. So do you see what I'm saying? You are going to think about the next best thing. Now, here's where this is going to be your meat. So if you are taking notes tonight, you can jot down a few of these notes because I'm going to give you some nutrition anchors. Remember, tonight we are talking about, in this comeback series, the nutrition comeback. All right, now taking things you already know, the knowledge, all that stuff you've accumulated over the years. Now I want to give you some anchors. And the great thing about anchors are, because these are things, just like the word sounds like, you can anchor to. You're not going to be flailing. Like, sometimes if there's no anchor and a boat starts to kind of steer away, maybe it's a little choppy out there in the bay or the lake, or you're out in the ocean, but once you drop the anchor, it gives that boat something to anchor to. Well, these are 5 nutrition anchors I'm going to give you tonight. And I want you just to see what kind of pops in your spirit to say, hey, I can do that. All right. Anchor number 1, protein first. Protein first. That is something that we all can do, but hey, does that make sense for you? Instead of asking yourself, what am I allowed not to eat? Start saying to yourself, where is my protein? Where is the protein on my plate? I'm going to build a plate or a bowl. I love to eat bowls, okay? And that is something that is satiating to your body. It's good for muscle maintenance. It's good for your metabolism. So you can build a plate around protein. So you don't need to eat a perfect meal, but I say, hey, here's an anchor that you can hold on to, protein first. Okay, is that something that you could do? All right, how's that sound? All right, anchor number 2. Okay, if you have followed me for any time at all, that is hydrate before you caffeinate. All right, that is a great anchor of something you can do for your nutrition. Okay, yes, hydration, water is part of your nutritional plan. It's really good for our digestion. It's good for our metabolism. It's good for our skin. All right, and that is the very first thing that you can do when you wake up. You have a little cup of water and you've got it in your bathroom. You get up, you drink that water, hydrate before you go into your kitchen to have your morning coffee. Hydrate before you caffeinate, all right? And you tell yourself, hey, I'm taking care of myself because I'm hydrating today. That's going to be my focus. You don't need an elaborate plan. You could just say, hey, I'm going to start my day by hydrating, all right? The third anchor, this is a really good mindset to have when we think about this nutritional comeback anchor, okay? Build before you restrict, all right? So many women, all right, and this might strike a chord with you. You approach nutrition asking yourself, what do I need to stop eating? What do I need to cut out? Oh, I'm going to cut carbs out. Carbs are bad, okay? Oh my gosh. Should I stop eating? Should I just eat one meal a day? Should I exercise all the time and just eat one meal so that I can have some caloric restriction? Okay, that is not building before you restrict. Okay, so instead, ask yourself, what does my meal need? Does it need protein? Could I add some more vegetables? Could I add some more fiber? Hey, could I add a fiber-rich carbohydrate? Because I know that's really good for my gut health, right? And that's very satiating to my body. So instead of continually taking food away. Learn how to build your plates. Learn how to build and not restrict. Okay. The fourth anchor is make the next choice. Make the next choice. This may be the most important anchor of all. Making the next choice. Okay, you went out to dinner last night. Maybe you didn't eat really what you wanted to. Maybe you just enjoyed, and that's okay. Make the next best choice tomorrow. You ate more than you intended. Make the next best choice in your next meal. Okay, you haven't meal prepped this week. Make the next best choice. Okay, when we do that, you feel empowered because you don't constantly feel like you have to start over. I don't know if y'all can hear, but it's storming really bad here. So I'm praying that my electricity doesn't go out because it's really loud, okay? And there's lightning coming in here. But the good thing about this is that you can decide to make a different decision, the next best choice tonight, Thursday evening at 7:52, okay? Your comeback doesn't have to have a calendar date. Isn't that good news? I love that because a lot of times we get in this mindset of thinking, oh, when I get to this certain date or when I have time, I'm going to do this. You don't have to do that. You're making your nutrition comeback with the knowledge that you already have. And then anchor number 5 is stop starting over. Okay, this is a big deal. Okay, there is no starting over. Everything you've learned that you've put in that little, bank of yours, okay, that you've saved the PDFs for, that you've, torn out of magazines of certain diets, everything you've learned up until now counts, okay? But your job is to find an anchor that you can grab a hold to that can steady the ever-changing world in the nutrition realm, okay? Because you have some things that you can do that are going to help you feel better now, today, tomorrow, okay? You have some things in your toolkit that you can use today, tonight, tomorrow that are going to help you feel good. You don't have to wait until next week, okay? You're not going back to day one. Everything that you've gotten up until this point is going to count. Okay. You're going to know, you're just going to simply return. You don't need to become a woman who never gets off track. Okay. Don't say, oh, I always get off track. I always quit my diets. I need to start over again. You can just become the woman who knows how to come back. Okay. Because that's who I believe that you are. You are the woman who knows to come back. All right. And lastly, in closing, because I know I'm talking a long time here, I want to keep it to about 30 minutes. In closing, I don't want you to think that you have to leave this class tonight with 15 things that you're going to change tomorrow, that you're like, okay, Renee said, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. No, I want you to think about, remember I said, take those little notes and think about what is something of those 5 anchors that she said that I was like, you know what? I can do that. I've been telling myself I need a restart. I've been telling myself I've quit and I need to start back again. No, you're going to come back to the things that you know. So jot that down. Which are those 5 anchors? Is that something that you know that you can do, but you haven't been doing it, right? Not telling yourself, oh, now I should learn this. No, just take what you already know and put it into practice. Put it into action tomorrow when you wake up, okay? And I think a really good place to start. I had a coaching call with one of my clients yesterday, and, she just the simple thing of saying, hey, have you thought of, because she was having struggle drinking her water. I said, have you thought of hydrating before you caffeinate? Just putting a glass of water in your bathroom before you go to bed at night. And then when you wake up, that's the first thing you're going to do. She's like, oh my gosh, that is so simple. I know to do that, but I stopped doing that. And that's what I want you to kind of think about tonight is like, okay, Renee is sharing some really simple anchors, some simple action steps. I can do this. So I want you to jot down, what is your action plan going to be when you leave this training tonight? Okay. Choose one nutrition anchor that you can grab a hold to. Now, I recognize that our circumstances may be different. Maybe you didn't go through, a total joint replacement. Maybe you didn't have a brain tumor. But friends, I know that we that all of us have times in our life when things get chaotic, when our schedules get busy, when we have disappointments, when we have sickness come in, when our loved ones, maybe we are taking care of aging parents, right? Maybe we have sick kids. There are times in life where we're gonna have chaos. And I want you to remember that you have it within you to make that next best decision the next day. You don't have to throw everything out just because you've got some challenges. And I will tell you, when I had my surgeries, after every single one, I got up every day and I put on my workout clothes. I did not sit around in my pajamas or in a robe. I got up and I got dressed and I had my water first before I even left my bathroom, and I made my bed because that establishes order for your day. That's a little extra for you, okay? So, and then I went in and did the rest of my morning routine. Did it look a little different because I would usually get like a pretty, good workout done in the morning? Yeah, for several weeks until I was released to work out again. But I always had that routine, the things I consistently did, I always had that in the back of my mind. Yes, was I going through a life challenge? Of course I was. Did, some of it seem unknown when I was waiting to get that brain tumor out? Yes, it did. But I had the peace of God. I had the vision to know I was going to get back to where I was before. It would just take a time to get back there, and I would have to go through that process. Okay. And it's all built in you taking the next choice, me taking the next step, me committing to the process of building those things that could be consistent in my life. And I will tell you, I promise you, when you begin to build consistency and stop being a person that quits when it gets hard, stop being the person that says you're too busy to have a healthy lifestyle, you're too busy, we all have excuses from time to time, all right? If you would just commit to doing the next thing, if you would commit to taking those little bits of knowledge that you already know, you would feel so empowered and you would begin to create a lifestyle that would not get shaken when the challenges of life come. Can I get an amen? All right. Now, I want to share with you that you might be ready to say, hey, I'm ready for my come. I think about that song by Ella Langley. It's butterfly season. And I think it's comeback season, that you are ready to come back. You are ready to come back and take those things that you've learned, and you just might need a little help. Okay. So I want to invite you for an opportunity to work with me as your personal coach. Okay. And I will be your personal coach in our VIP program. And you can work personally with me. All right. And if that's something that you would like to do to establish some order back into your routine, if that is something that you need to help take the knowledge that you've learned before and put it into practice, let me know. I have a link that I will share with you. Or maybe you're somebody that you're like, Renee, you've given me a lot of things to think about tonight. I would like to just hop on a personal 15-minute phone call with you. I would love to do that too. So you think about, where do you see yourself, and where do you see yourself, and go back with those notes that you've jotted down tonight and just really have a few minutes and think about, when she said that made something within me jump and say, I can do this too. And I believe in you, and y'all know I'm really cheering you on all the time, whether I've worked with you before as your faster rate coach, or whether you're a friend of mine from the social media world. I appreciate you joining in tonight. Thank you for listening to my story. And I want you to know that you know more than you think you know, and that you can do it, so that you can live a life running the race that God has established for you, feeling energized, feeling confident, and well able. And that's what I want for you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I love y'all, and I'm cheering you on, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.